if you hold cryptocurrency, you're going to want to hear this. You're going to want to watch today's entire video, because I believe we are entering the biggest leg of a cryptocurrency bull market, altcoin season. That's my belief. I could be totally wrong, but let me prove it to you. Watch today's whole video and also give you my top 5 cryptocurrency investing tips for beginners to get rich in 2026. My name's Austin, and I wanted to come at you straight to camera and sort of check in with the team. So comment down below where you're tuning in from, what coins you believe in the most, comment down below as we head into this pretty big time in cryptocurrency. So I've been in crypto for near 10 years. I've been through multiple bear markets, multiple bull markets, and I believe we are still, to me it's obvious, we are still in a bull market for 3 big reasons. I know we're dipping today. Number 1 out of 3, the Federal Reserve just cut rates.
Today, the Federal Open Market Committee decided to lower our policy interest rate by a 1/4 percentage point.
They had a hawkish hold for 9 months. Not only did they just cut rates, they had very dovish rhetoric, in my opinion, stating that this is going to be a cutting cycle. Meaning, yes, we just got the first cut, but no matter where you think, if you think we're getting a few more rate cuts by the end of this year, let alone 2026, and the market is pricing in, or the market is betting that we will, I think we're going to be in a dovish cycle in 12 months, right? We're getting a new Federal Reserve chair, and I loved what Tom Lee, billionaire investor Tom Lee, just said about this.
This is shared from Carson Research, but they show that whenever the Fed cut near all-time highs, markets had 12-month gains 100% of the time. So I think it's a bullish cut. And again, we're in an easing cycle.
So rates being cut means it's easier for liquidity to come into assets with product market fit, like Bitcoin, like crypto. Number 2, reason why I think we're going much higher is something called the Market Structure Bill. That's happening. It's the Clarity Act that's gonna do exactly what it says, bring clarity. This is the biggest piece of 100% crypto legislation. I almost said financial legislation, but in a way both, that we've had in a very long time, especially for crypto. Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, was in Washington, D.C. recently saying this.
Hey everyone, I'm here in Washington, D.C. again, fighting for your rights to try to get some market structure legislation passed for crypto. This would be foundational, just like we did for stablecoins a few months ago with the Genius Act. Market structure legislation protects all the other non-stablecoin crypto assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. The Senate is strongly supportive of getting this done. The members that I met with on both sides of the aisle are ready to get this legislation passed, and there's draft text now being exchanged back and forth and with the industry for comment, which is great. We saw a lot of alignment today. Now, of course, this hasn't stopped the big banks from trying to throw a wrench into things, and they're trying to ban rewards on stablecoins. The members of the Senate who I spoke to, they're not going to let that happen. That was already litigated and decided in the Genius Act for stablecoins. They're not going to bring it up again. But barring these little details here and there, I think this thing has a good chance of getting done. I've actually never been more bullish on a market structure getting passed. It's a freight train leaving the station.
And while it's not going to mean price changes instantly the day it passes, but this is the plumbing. This is the infrastructure for crypto for the first time ever in the largest financial market in the world for the next decade plus. And reason number 3 that I think we're going so much higher, before we get into the 5 cryptocurrency investing strategies to get rich, we just have to make sure we're on the same page. But reason number 3, what the SEC just did. If you were subscribed to Altcoin Daily, you saw this. The SEC just approved generic listing standards for ETPs, exchange traded products. We all remember back in 2024 when a Bitcoin ETF, in this case ETP, ETF, same thing in this case, when a Bitcoin ETF was approved in 2024 for the first time in crypto history, money came pouring into Bitcoin. Why? Because they finally had easy access, somebody to custody the coins, somebody to handle all the technical part. They just bought the ticker. Ethereum got an ETF. In the long run, we saw what happened to price with Ethereum. None of these other altcoins have been able to get approved just because the rules are all messy. Now, generically, if they meet certain criteria, they're in, and we're just starting to see altcoin ETFs go on the market. Now, how do I get rich? Well, these are strategies and tips that I use Again, I would never speak for you. I will never tell you what to do with your money. This is how I handle my money, my strategy. And rule number one, maybe this is obvious, I'll get even more better towards the end, but dollar cost average. This is a tried and true method in this traditional market as well for one big reason, because it works. You are never going to time the market. The best investors in the world cannot time the market, but it's time in the market. It's keeping the money in the market. And again, these are generic sort of things to say, but it's because they work. You're never going to time the exact bottom, just like you're never going to sell the exact top. But what the pros do and what I do, and I just copy the pros, is this is what happens in a bear market. The lower we go, the more I buy in, whether that's $100 a week, pick the number that is best for you, or every time we have a major dip, buy a lot more than just $100 a week. Just like that was a bear market, my strategy in a bull market, who knows when we'll top. And side note on this first tip, this is a good side note. Bull markets end. We're in a bull market right now, I believe. It will end. Nobody knows when it will end, but the minute it ends, things change. Liquidity dries up. So be prepared for that, because it'll happen. And also, bull markets last so much longer than people realize. Two things to keep in mind, sort of opposites, but they both hold true to me. How I'm going to take profits, I'm not going to try and time the market. As we go higher, I set a plan at the beginning. I have a strategy, I have rules. When it gets to a certain price, I'm going to dollar cost average out. At least take out my principal, so I'm only playing with the house's money, but always keeping a moon bag. Because if we are in a super cycle and this goes parabolic, you don't want to be all the way out of the market. So DCA in, DCA out. To me, if I had to give an analogy, it's like planting seeds. Some days the soil is going to be a little more expensive to plant those seeds. Someday the soil, relatively speaking, is going to be cheap. You'll feel good about planting seeds. But in the long run, it's just about harvesting the most crops. It's about growing a garden using DCA. Cryptocurrency investing tip number 2, and then we're getting to the big ones, but number 2, and this is one that I've made mistakes so many times with this, is take emotion out of investing. Invest with discipline, not emotion. It seems so obvious, but every so often I have to remind myself of this. And what I mean, let me give you an example, like we do on Altcoin Daily, that's why you subscribe, is often when the markets feel the most euphoric, the masses get a sense of FOMO, I'm missing out, and they rush in. That's really the time you should be selling. Just like when markets just feel depressed, when there's blood in the streets, markets are low, people are screaming, we're going so much lower. That's really the time you should be taking out your positions, dollar cost averaging. And if you've been with Altcoin Daily for a long time, you remember us in 2018, 2019, horrible bear market, us bringing you the headlines, me and my brother saying, well, the fundamentals haven't changed. Price has gone down, but the fundamentals are actually getting better. Or more specifically, in 2022, FTX, the second largest exchange at the time on Earth in terms of global liquidity, collapsed. Bitcoin dropped to $15,000. People were screaming, we're going to $11,000. Why would you buy? We're going lower. We're going sub 10, some people were saying. Nobody knew, but really that's the time you dollar cost average in betting on the long term. And to compare that to a top of market, we remember the top of 2021. Bored Ape, there was Paris Hilton on Jimmy Fallon showing off her Bored Ape. A lot of top signals of the time. People are screaming so much higher. Nobody knew. I thought we were going to 100K back then. Nobody knew. But again, have a plan. DCA out, just like you DCA in. Now with emotion, with your plan from the start. Tip number 3. Now this is my favorite tip for a beginner, and this took me a while to get, but once I did, light bulb moment in my head. Understand market cap versus price and invest in something based on market cap, not price. And let me give you an example. Let's look at Shiba Inu, meme coin, SHIB. You can put $100 in, and man, you can get a lot of that. It feels like you're getting a lot of that coin. And for comparison, just because the price is so different, we can look at BitTensor Tau, blue chip AI altcoin. and you see the price is so high, you're putting money in, $100 in, are you even getting a whole coin? It feels much better owning a lot of something. But then you look at market cap and you see, okay, the market cap, and I'm guessing here, but the market cap of BitTensor, I think it's 3.5 billion, and the market cap of Shiba Inu, around 7 billion. Now, what does that mean? That's the value of the addressable market, the coins in circulation and the price they trade at. And that essentially means it would take, you can put half the amount of big whales, you can put half the amount of money would have to go into BitTensor to double the price. Double the amount of money globally would have to go into SHIB to just keep on path with what BitTensor is. I hope that makes sense. So price can be man-made. Just because it feels good to buy a lot of something doesn't mean one doesn't have more of a potential upside, one doesn't have more scarcity, more actual users on the network. It's about fundamentals, but also understand market cap to know where a coin could go. Because with Bitcoin, for example, it's around a $2.2 to $2.2 trillion market cap. How far could it go? Well, it's like gold. It has the same properties of gold, only digital. It's a better gold, in my opinion. And that means we can compare it to the market cap of gold, which is over 20 trillion. And we know Bitcoin, I believe, in the long run has that 10x potential because the market cap helps us understand the potential of this thing. We wouldn't compare Bitcoin with market cap of Amazon because they're totally different. They're doing two different things. So just understand that market cap over price. If you're getting value in today's video, make sure you send this video to a friend. You do not want to get rich alone. And these are, in my opinion, tried and true methods for just doing well in investing. Bringing us to investing tip to get rich in cryptocurrency for beginners in 2026. Again, obvious, but most people will make this mistake, and it shouldn't be you. It shouldn't be you if you subscribe to Altcoin Daily. Do not invest more than you are willing to lose, because that's when you get emotional. That's when you get desperate, that you're over leveraged. You spent money, you need it for rent, where everybody said it would go up, but you're trying to spend that on food or travel or whatever it is. There is no sure things. Cryptocurrency is the most volatile market in the world, which we love. We love that upside. That's why we like the volatility, but you got to be able to handle the downside. So do not invest any money that you're using for rent, food, anything that you need to live. And also, if you're just starting, 1 to 5% of your investing portfolio into cryptocurrency. Now, I'm near 100%, but I do this every day. Altcoin Daily drops a video every single day. That's why you subscribe, to get in tune with the market. So this is my world. I'm willing to take the risk, but even for me, it's not money. If I lost everything, if all of crypto went to zero, I wouldn't be out on the street. So just never invest more than you're willing to lose. But cryptocurrency tip number 5 is, you could say this is cliche, but invest in yourself, meaning learn more every day. For perspective, if you could teleport back to 1996, early internet days, just knowing that the internet is going to be around, it's actually changing the entire world we live in, but not knowing anything else, would you do anything differently if you were alive back then? I think you would. I would, for sure. I would get in the trenches. I would learn as much as I possibly could. I would read the forums, go to the meetups, watch as many interviews from experts as we can. We've interviewed a couple experts on this channel, and we're going to continue to. But you would immerse yourself, understanding that this is a revolution and you just want an edge. I want an edge. So while you may invest in a stock, a coin, anything, and you may regret that, that's investing, you will never regret learning more every day. I'm talking free content. I'm not talking 95% of content you need. It's all free out there. I'm talking Altcoin Daily. I would literally go to the people I'm subscribed to, Altcoin Daily people I subscribe to, on YouTube. I think that's public, it should be, or X, that is 100% public, and just follow the people I follow. I'm not saying they're the best, I'm saying that they're experts in their field. I even like to follow people I don't necessarily agree with. People that hate crypto, people that are pure Ethereum, people that are pure Bitcoin maximalists, whatever, just hear so many different perspectives, because I know this is the first inning, maybe you could say it's the second or third inning of 9 innings of this cryptocurrency revolution, and I'm not going to miss out. I'm going to learn more every day. That's tip number 5. My name's Austin. Click the like button. Appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow.